Okay, this is becoming a ridiculous pattern because I just got off the phone with my mom and it's time to record another video journal because we were talking about stuff, and now I got to thinking, and whenever I get to thinking, stuff happens. Okay, let me. We were talking about AI alignment, and she said she wants to write an article about AI alignment and uh raising awareness for AI alignment. Essentially, AI alignment seems to be, this is something I talk about a lot. Seems that the thing that matters the most existentially for AI is the question of alignment. Can we create an AI that's aligned to us or not? And something I've been thinking about is I've been rethinking the question of alignment. I don't know if the solution is to ensure that every model is aligned necessarily, or I think that question's a little easier. Just like, don't make it do crazy stuff. Okay, that sounds easier said than done. But again, I think it's going to be hard to at least create institutions which ensure that model alignment occurs. So I think the next best thing is to ensure lab alignment or manufacturing alignment. Essentially, whoever creates these models, whoever creates whatever wrap, because that's the thing, you can always prompt inject, you can always wrap the base model in another model that manages to like jailbreak it or whatever. I don't think these things are solvable. I don't think we're going to fix jailbreaking. I don't think we're going to fix all of these things. So essentially, if you create a powerful enough model that can be jailbroken, it gets jailbroken, and now you can misalign it, or you can build this zombie virus and release it everywhere. Hey, scan this guy. Tell me how to make him gay, or whatever it is. I think there you can't really do anything. There's nothing you can really, there's no terms and conditions you can get for this guy not to create like a zombie virus with this thing, because that's already illegal in of itself. Whatever. Jailbreaking seems to be too easy for even frontier models that I don't see model alignment being feasible. However, I do see lab alignment to be feasible. So just like I believe for example, a gun isn't inherently misaligned. A gun is just a tool that can create a lot of energy in a very short amount of time, propelling a round or piece of metal, a bullet, but I don't want to like sound fancy, whatever, a piece of metal really fast in one direction and cause damage to whatever hits. That's what a gun does. Now, a gun in the hands of a police officer that's doing good, or shooting a terrorist is good. That's a gun that's aligned to humanity, because it's causing the flourishing of humanity by saving people's lives. But the same gun in the terrorist's hands is now misaligned because it's killing people and it's causing minimization of people's lives. But it seems that the gun, the tool, isn't aligned. It doesn't have an inherent alignment. It seems to be the people wielding the tool to be misaligned, or aligned or misaligned. This is something I talk a lot about when it comes to social media algorithms. I don't think the algorithm is inherently bad. I mean, all it's doing is solving for engagement. But it turns out there are negative externalities to this algorithm, or to this specific way of promoting content or ranking content for viewers. That it seems that a lot of engaging material can be like rage bait, lust bait, or whatever. It can cause problems. It can cause the degradation of epistemic realities for people, or the separation of epistemic realities, and cause a hatred to fester. We've talked a lot about this in a lot of video journals already. So, not good. It's misaligned in practice. But I think it's the social media companies that are wielding it that are misaligned, not the algorithm itself necessarily. So I think that's kind of the way we have to approach. Again, all of what I'm saying might not be novel at all. I might just be, I haven't heard people talk about this directly, but I might just be copying what like a bunch of other people are saying. I don't work in AI, okay? I'm just a AI power user. Not even, like, I don't even use agents or whatever. I don't really need to, but I think about this a lot. I think about politics, and I think about philosophy a lot. I think about economics a lot. I think of all these things. This is like an armchair perspective on this issue. Yeah, no insider knowledge. At least not that anyone else has access to. But yeah, I think that that's how we ought to be thinking of alignment. Should be the I guess an issue with this philosophy or this framework is that it seems that every single day AI is getting more democratized. We have changes in software, changes in architecture, code written architecture that seems to be making it cheaper to run models. I mean, we have quantized models, stuff like that, mixture of agents. I think it's mixture of agents, mixture of experts, models such as like DeepSeek or whatever. We have uh, mixture of experts, memory optimization. Basically, we found code-based ways to make token count cheaper. Okay, but then we also have hardware changes to make token count cheaper, such as more efficient graphics cards, more powerful graphics cards, maybe like economies of scale or whatever. I don't know. I don't know if that applies to compute. But we have like TPUs coming out, whatever. It seems that we're optimizing in the hardware too, and cheaper energy, which right now is not a thing due to the Strait of Hormuz and oil and stuff like that. But in the long run, energy I believe is getting cheaper. Renewables are getting cheaper and stuff like that, and it's lowering the energy costs. So those three, because I think those are the three big cost factors, and I guess human costs. But again, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't seem to be that big of an effect. So we have, yeah, essentially a democratization of AI. If you look back a year ago and you look at the models that were open source and available just to be run locally, I mean, they're nothing compared to the ones now. So much so that I believe the leading models in video and image are both open source. It seems that they are. Not to say that there aren't like hidden secret, state secret image or video rendering models that are closed source, but it doesn't seem, at least the models that are open to the public that are the best at image and video are both open source. And the text-based ones, LLMs, so the denoisers, which are they're not denoisers. What are they? Why am I calling them denoisers? I'm video brained right now. Oh my god. Dude, my brain's shit itself. Not denoisers. What are they? Are they denoisers? Let's just call them denoisers. But LLMs and next token generators, if you want to call them that, the open source models don't seem to be super far behind. Wait, let's actually look at some benchmarks right now. Okay. Oh, really big. Sorry. Don't at me on this, okay? I don't know if this is the most reliable source, okay? But we have LM.ai, and here we have some LLM leaderboards to look at, okay? Let's look at some benchmarks. Here we have, I mean, top 5 best in reasoning, GPQA Diamond, or dominated by closed source models. That is true. High school math, we have GPT OSS. No, 20 billion. This might be. Whoa. Okay, yeah. So just to confirm, GPT OSS is open source. So here we have the best 4 and 5 models, both being open source. Kimi K2 and GPT OSS. Again, 20 billion parameters, quite a bit, but compared to the other ones, not that much. Yeah, here marked by closed source models. Humanity's Last Exam, top 2 model. Second model, this is a nice overall benchmark or general benchmark. We have a open source model, and then 5th place, same Kimi. These are all closed source. These are all closed source. But in Humanity's Last Exam, agentic coding, I'm surprised we don't have K2 up here. But when we look at model comparisons, actually, let me get you coding specifically. So live code bench, Kimi to K2, and by significant gap. Now, there are arguments to be made that certain models are being trained for certain benchmarks, and benchmarks don't capture the entirety of model's ability or whatever. That is true. There are limitations for the benchmarks. But come on, man. I mean, this at least says something, that open source is doing really well. Grok, unfortunately here, but Kimi K2 #1 and by a significant margin. Agentic coding, yeah, it's not there, and tools to use. Quen 2.5, I believe, is open source, and so is Gemma. Google, let's go! Open source, and DeepSeek open source too. So we have a 3, 4, and 5 here. When we look at model comparisons and we look at SWE bench, yes, we're dominated by SWE software engineering bench. We're dominated by Claude, of course, and we have GPT and the Gemini. But a third company here, Kimi K2 Thinking, and then we have DeepSeek, again, open source. Quen, open source. Llama, is Llama open source? I don't know if what Meta's doing with Llama. I actually don't care because Llama seems to be booty. And then we have, again, live code bench. We have Kimi dominating Claude, OpenAI, and then we have 2 Western open models. So we have 2 OpenAI open source models. Llama, DeepSeek. Again, they're not far behind. Okay, they are not far behind. And then yeah, open source leaderboard. It seems that the Chinese are dominating pretty handedly. The Arc AGI 2 Kimi K2 scored a 12%. That is kind of crazy. Wait, let me see some of these specific tests for you. Here we have a live bench, so a little bit easier to see. And yeah, it seems to be dominated by the closed source. So Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT. But look down here, we have Quen 3.6 plus, which I believe may be open source, and it may actually be Apache 2.0. So we have Kimi, again, open source. If we look at organizations, actually, that's a silly way to look at it. Yeah, but OpenAI, Google, but then yeah, Moonshot, ZAI, XAI, which is open source, DeepSeek. Again, a lot of open source models. And if you compare the global average of like the top, let's say top frontier model, which currently is GPT 5.4 thinking by effort, we have an 80. And then compared to the first open source model, which I believe is Quen, we have a 70. We're not that far behind. We're talking OpenAI, the OGs of basically the LLM race, again, in the shortest timeline, or the most recent timeline, compared to Alibaba. 70 to 80, a 10-point gap. It's not that big of a gap. It's not that big of a gap. Reasoning average, you look at reasoning average, yeah, these guys are still mogging. They're still winning, but you know, DeepSeek, Kimi, Quen. If you look at this gap a while ago, oh, actually, dude, you can see this a year ago. So maybe let's see if I'm right on this. This is where putting my money where my mouth is. But yeah, we look at this. We look at this gap. 2024. No, this isn't a year ago. Let's do a little closer to a year ago. We look at this a year ago, and it seems that we have, you know, OpenAI, Google, OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, X, DeepSeek, 67 to 81. This is a bigger gap, right, than last time. I believe this is a 14-point gap. Alibaba again. We look at even further back. We look at a year ago. We can't go 2 years ago. I mean, we have DeepSeek 48 to a 61. Like this gap. Is Abacus open source? I don't know. And again, this is global average. So if we look at language average, Gemini, Claude, OpenAI, Anthropic, OpenAI, Anthropic, SAI, Anthropic, Moonshot, ZAI, you know, Alibaba. We have open source models over here. Mathematics, which 94, holy buckets. Dude, we are cooked. Not cooked, but you know, whatever. DeepSeek, Kimi K2, Alibaba. You know, these are, the gap is closing, I believe. And I think this is where we get to the second part of the argument, okay? So it doesn't seem that, it seems that the open source models are becoming more and more feasible, or not feasible, but performant relative to the closed source models. the gap is closing, I believe. And the rate at the improvement is incredible for the open source models. But we do have a limitation. Compute. It seems to run these models, you need a lot of compute and a lot of energy. I don't know how much computation. Let's actually check the VRAM requirements for some of these top models. Okay, so after some research, small correction, it seems that Qwen 3.6 Pro isn't an open source model, but we have Kimi K2 Thinking, which is 1%, 1 point under Kimi, Qwen. So basically no difference. So let me tell you how much that would run you back right now. Yeah, so it seems that to run Kimi K2 natively, since it is 1.04 trillion, sorry, not natively, locally, since it seems that it is 1.04 trillion parameters, it's going to require a little bit. It'll require roughly 520 gigabytes of VRAM, which is ridiculous. For context, my gaming laptop, State of the Frontier, it was goated. 3 years ago has about 8 gigabytes of VRAM. So, I mean, we're talking like a disgusting amount of compute. And Gemini's done some math, and it roughly from about 250 pounds to 280,000 pounds. 250,000 to 280,000 pounds to set up a machine that would be capable of running a model such as this one. If you want to run, for example, let's get Live Bench open again. If you want to run Gemma 4 31 billion parameter model, dense, so the fullest, like the true model, the whole fucking thing. Okay, no quantization, no cutting corners, just the densest, thickest model, which I believe is the one that's listed here, which scores global average at 61. So again, 20 points under the top one, top closed source for global average. But we're talking 31 billion model. It would cost you about $3,000 to $4,000 to just buy a Mac Mini. Or a Mac Studio, 128 gig? I don't know. I think it would take about 8 gigs of VRAM. I mean, 80 gigs of VRAM. I mean, insane. It is insane. And of course, yes, you're going to have a power bill, and it's going to, you're going to have to use energy, but so do the other server farms. Your overhead is so small. And this is a crazy goated model. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to be convinced that the Frontier model, it's hard to convince me that Mythos is not going to be able to be quantized to a small degree to add some memory performance improvements, stuff like that, and you're not going to be able to run it locally in the next 5 years. I don't see that. Of course, there will be a gap. Of course, it seems that the people that run the data centers are going to have an advantage. But I think with the democratization of AI, I don't think these models are going to be able to be held behind closed doors. But you will need compute. You will need compute. And I think that's really the question for me on AI. That seems like it's the bottleneck. Doesn't seem that the models are the issue. It seems that, we need to ensure whoever has the compute is aligned. So whoever's basically able to run a model is aligned. And I think those are going to, if there are any techno-feudalists in the future, it's going to be the data center owners. I don't think it's going to be the model owners, because I think models are too easy to leak. Let me fact check myself on this. I think seems like I'm largely correct. Okay, so let me just tell you what I think, and then maybe time will be able to tell whether I'm right or not. I think what we're seeing is the commodification of models. I think models are becoming commodities that can just be bought and sold, and largely free. It seems that the monopoly on intelligence isn't happening at the thought level. So let's imagine you look at a brain, okay? Let's think of this as a human body. The body itself would be, fuck the body. The digestive system would be the energy, right? How are you turning, for example, solar panels would be like turning food into calories, turning calories into energy. That's not true. Calories is a name for energy, or it's a measurement of energy. Turning food biomass into electricity. Okay, that's essentially what the body does, and that's the energy production, of course, in the real world. And then we have data centers, which is like the brain itself, the biomatter. It's hard to split because the brain actually also has an architecture, which is like the neural nets of the brain, the organization of the neurons, stuff like that would kind of be the model. But let's separate this two, okay? You have the physical mass, which is the brain, and then inside the brain you have the neurons, which are the models. I don't think the neurons are gonna be the limiting factor in intelligence. I don't think they're going to be the monopoly of intelligence, because we're seeing that you can get a model that's like 95% the quality of fucking Claude or whatever, or GPT-4o, better actually than GPT-4, and you can run it locally for a very, very, very reasonable price. So I don't know. It just doesn't seem that that's where the limitations are going to be. I believe the limitations are going to be in the brain and in the tummy, or the energy manufacturing. The computer is going to matter a lot, and I think that's a little scarier because we have producers like Nvidia. Where do Apple get their chips? So we have ASML, which are the literally monopoly on lithography machines, or modern lithography machines, the EUV lithography machines, which are needed to produce the AI chips. Then we have TMC, which are also the ones who produce the Apple silicon chips, I believe. And they produce 90 to 92% of the world's most advanced chips. So NVIDIA, AMD, Apple, and others. And of course, we have NVIDIA. NVIDIA has an estimated 92 to 94% share of the data center GPU market as of Q1 of 2026. Insane. That is disgusting. That is beyond monopoly. You're getting, it's a unopoly almost. Like we're past mono, we're going to uni, which I know, which I know is like the same thing, but it's 90 to 94%. What? Holy buckets. Okay. And then we have TPU manufacturers such as Google, Alphabet, which is the TPU, and then we have Amazon with some stuff. But NVIDIA's chips, 92 to 94%. Ridiculous, disgusting, insane. Okay? And I think these are going to be partially the bottleneck. It's going to be like it's kind of a tall bottleneck almost, but we have NVIDIA and whoever's producing the chips, ASML, just insane. Literally a monopoly. The only competitors, the only people, there's no competition. But we're gonna have the chip manufacturers and people doing all that tech. So NVIDIA, TSMC, Alphabet, all these guys are getting thrown into the same set. Okay, these are the compute manufacturers, and then we have the data center owners, so the people who actually like set up the machines and stuff like that and run the data centers, and then we have the energy grid, so the people actually providing a consistent source of energy to these data centers. Those are the three big players in this game, and I believe those are the kingmakers. Again, I don't think the model, not even we're not even think we're going further. Sorry, we're not even looking down the line at like the wrapper people, or the people that turn those models into like the actual AI chats that you can like speak to or whatever, the model wrappers. Again, those are crucial for the dissemination of model usage, or the empowering of model usage, allowing people to use these models. Of course, those guys are important players, but small, they're pawns in the game. They're not even pawns. They're like the particles that make up the chess pieces. Okay. But yeah, I think the energy in the computer are that's where the money, I think, okay, in the future, that's where the money is to be made. And even in the present, I mean, these model generating companies besides Google, because of previous profits, aren't the ones turning a profit on this. It's NVIDIA. It's these compute manufacturers, especially the energy producers. I think that's where the future is. And dude, I wish I could get involved in something like this, especially in Portugal. Dude, we have the biggest ocean shelf. Okay, we have an insane coastline that is ground for insane data centers, which can be ocean cooled, which I don't believe because of, unless you have like desalination measures or whatever, because the calcium buildup on pipes and stuff like that would be, I think, critical, and it wouldn't allow you to properly cool down machines. But being next to the ocean, cool breezes or whatever, especially in winter, it gets kind of chilly on the coast. But yeah, I think and I think that's the you know, I was kind of black pilled on the whole Europe thing, because I was looking at us and I'm like, Europe isn't producing any models. We're not coding. I mean, we have Mistral and stuff like that, but relatively we have nothing. We're not even competitive. I don't even think we're on this leaderboard. Is Mistral here? Yes, Mistral. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What? Sorry, one. I mean, Mistral is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 away from the bottom, and I don't know how many models there are, but not doing good. Not doing good. I don't know how many models there are, but 7th worst. So essentially, yeah, Europe is not competitive in the model space. However, we're also cooked in the energy space. I mean, reliance on Russia and stuff like that is crazy, and maybe the Ukraine war has a positive consequence, I guess, in this regard, because it makes us rethink our energy independence. But yeah, I guess my black pill take before was like, we're cooked. We're gonna be feudal states to, or serf states to the U.S. or China, whoever develops the models more or first. But the more I think about AI, the more I guess I'm in the space, and the more compute I dedicate to thinking about this. The more I realize that we might not be that cooked. Okay, I think we just need to build data centers and the energy infrastructure, and let the Chinese and the Americans throw billions and billions of dollars into these problems, and then give us some open source models that we can run ourselves. Okay. I think, I don't know. I don't know. Again, completely uneducated. Like, I have no authority on this matter. Okay, this is just, I'm just an independent thinker. Okay. But yeah, I think the compute and the energy is going to be the bottleneck, and I think that's what we have to, not the bottleneck, but that's where the power is going to lie. That's where the crown is going to sit. So I think that's what we have to focus on. Let's see if we can not turn into serf states. Maybe, you know, this could be a push for individuals to do too. There is nothing stopping you from going, well, besides the RAM prices worldwide, but there's nothing stopping you from going to your nearest Apple store or online and order a Mac Mini or a Mac Studio and set up a, I don't know, like independent solar panels or whatever to be able to run all of this compute from, and have a goated local setup for with like a running local models. There's nothing stopping you. I don't know. I think as time goes on, maybe it's something I'm gonna consider doing. I don't know how many solar panels it would take to power a Mac Mini running 24/7 with your slop factory Gemma 4s running, but I don't know. It's something to be aware of, and I think this brings me on to my last point, and this is something I've been seriously contending with. I haven't abandoned the concept of democracy, but every day that goes by, I get more and more aware of potentially the limiting factors in democracy. I think in the past, have I discussed complexity gap theory here? Okay, maybe this is gonna have to be a separate video journal. So I want to do this. Okay, I have to do this. Okay, give me a second. Let me talk about this in another video journal. Yeah, I'll talk about this in another video journal. Okay. I love you so very much, and I'll see you in literally a second. Okay, peace.